All right, Cancers. Sarah here from Divinelyyou. How are you? I wanted to take some time to kind of give you an overview of this Mars in Gemini transit. This is a very long Mars transit, and I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit and what's also going on in the meantime. And so for you, Cancer, this Mars in Gemini, your 12th, I like to think of the houses as life areas. And so 12th house is the area of subconscious. It's limiting its systems. It's like endings, healing, dreaminess, connect to the divine. And so it's a lot of deep spirit inner work and inner areas. My internet's unstable, so if I'm choppy, I apologize. This has been a problem for a hot minute. And so for you, Cancer, with this Gemini now, Mars entered Gemini August, around of August. It's going to be here until around the 22nd of March of 2023. So that is a long time. It's about 7 months time for Mars to be here. So with this being in your 12th house, you may be experiencing a lot of sort of deep healing of maybe like old wounds, like deep old wounds, maybe probably from childhood, maybe even from previous lives. And so it's gonna feel like really your world's kind of gonna get turned upside down, right? Because in the middle of all of this, we're gonna have lots of other transits happening, including a Mercury retrograde. Most of the planets are in retrograde. So we're gonna have 6 planets in retrograde. And then we will have a Saturn-Uranus square, and is restrictions, control, and things like that. So that might kind of pull you back. I don't well, with limit you in pressing forward if you are not getting in to heal or disrupt the belief pattern you have about yourself. Then we will have Pluto go direct. That's around October 8th. I feel like that's going to be a big energy shift of people. Like soul death and rebirth. And so like really that would be like a turning point for you. Mars retrograde October 31st, and it's going to be retrograde till about mid-January 2023. And so that's going to kind of slow this process further to really invite you to dig in deep, right? These are things you're not even aware of, that it's going to create awareness by making your world unsteady, unstable, and maybe even unsettling. It's an invitation to really disrupt these old limiting beliefs you have about yourself, to really release and let go of these old stories. You are somebody who constantly brings up the past. It's time to move forward. It's time to let it go and move forward. It really feels just, I always think of like some of these transits as like you're gonna get run over by the planets. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that like the planets are really gonna come at you or work with you to help you move forward into what we're moving into in 2023. Because in 2023, Mars will leave Gemini, and then like the next day, Pluto's going to move into Aquarius, which is revolutionary energy. And so really digging into yourself and really like accessing that deeper knowing of who you are. Really disrupting the belief pattern you have about yourself and your world you live in. Because Gemini, aside from the transit being in your 12th house, which is like dreamy spirituality, and belief systems, limiting belief patterns, but Gemini is mental, it's the mind, it's the twin, it's siblings. And so a couple of types of energy at play because of where this transit is occurring, right? And so, and then of course we have a Mercury retrograde and a handful of other transits occurring that are really going to create that instability for people mentally. And it's not to upset you, it's not to create conflict, it's to create an opportunity or an invitation for you to really disrupt, to really shift these belief patterns that you have been living in this whole time, right? Probably most of your life, right? Because a lot of these deep inner child type things. And so, and then of course during Scorpio season, so about mid-October through mid-November, we'll have the eclipses happening that will amplify things. So you're really going to be shown the limiting beliefs, the old stories that you're holding on to, and that they are not serving you, and that it is time to let them go, to move forward into the revolution that we're about to experience in 2023. And so think back to what was coming up for you. What were you envisioning around May or June of 2021? Because when we had eclipses in Gemini, and maybe take a look at your journal, your photos, your social media, whatever it is, your calendar, whatever might show you what you were going through, what you were experiencing in May, June of 2021. And because Mars is kind of going to activate wreck ball, that's what I did. Maybe be a wrecking ball and like destroy that old shit so that you can move forward, right, into a different state of being. And so this can be very transformative. It can also be very challenging if very resistant, or still don't want to let go of those old limiting beliefs. You are ready to move forward and you're ready to let it all go. Again, apologies for the unstable internet. And so lots of things at play, right? And have the opportunity to just let all of this shit go so that you can move on to the next story in a different belief pattern about yourself. And so with all of the transits that are occurring with the Saturn Uranus aspect, which is, like I said, that's restrictions and control. And then we have the eclipses to amplify things. You really start to see what maybe you haven't seen before, right? It's kind of like the synchronicities, right? I remember just a personal example, but there were things about long-term friendships that I didn't want to see, right? This was several years ago. There were things about long-term friendships I didn't want to see. And then I got into a really bad relationship. And when that relationship ended, I then realized like that bad relationship helped me see how not so good my friendships were, right? So sometimes we get these little nuggets or breadcrumbs along the way, And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, now I know why I had to experience that. Right. And so you may see like some synchronicities that are showing you where things can go if you release and let go of these old belief patterns, limiting beliefs about yourself. And so journaling, meditation, really grounding yourself in, connecting with the earth, and all of those things really help you process what may be coming up for you. This is a lot of mental processing energy, right? With this many planets in retrograde, including Mercury, it's a lot of mental processing energy. So really grounding in, pull yourself into the earth, and that sort of thing. If you have stones and you want to work with stones, you can work with hematite. That is the stone of Mars. But I have a red jasper, so a red stone. Red is the color of the root chakra, which is what we want to focus on to really pull ourselves into the earth. And then I have a smoky quartz, which is an earthy stone, will further ground you into the earth. But really meditation and, just really touching the earth when you can, those sorts of things, to really keep yourself fixed to the earth. um, and so, yeah. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, this was an overview and this was for the specific sun sign. However, if you would like to get more unique about your what may be coming up for you, you can get a one-on-one reading with me. Contact information is below. If you have any questions, please leave comments below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And I hope you found this to be helpful. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next crazy video.